Welcome, everyone. This is Our Travel Experiences. I'm your host, Kyle Rasmussen. And today I have with me, back by popular demand, I got my good friend Jamal. Jamal, how are you today?
What's up, sir?
How's it going?
Just another day in Seattle, another year, another dollar. I can't complain.
I like it. Well, I'm really excited to talk with you again. We were just talking about how I think it's been since almost a year, actually, probably since we recorded the episode that we did. But you've been traveling a lot, especially internationally this year, and so just kind of give the listeners a background. What kind of travels did you have this year or last year?
Yeah, for sure. 2022 was really eventful. I went to a lot of places I didn't expect to go at the start of the new year last year. But I went to Barbados in June. I went to Cabo in July, and I went to Toronto. I think early October, um, end of October, early September.
Okay,
So
very cool.
yeah, but it was pretty good. It was really fun to just go and like just get away from Seattle for a minute. And it was my first time going to Toronto. It was my first time going to Cabo. It was just a hell of an experience.
Yeah, yeah, the pictures looked amazing on Instagram. I was definitely jealous.
To get a
So
DSLR and just start taking pictures.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what that beeping was, but anyways, so Barbados in June. What was that trip like? Why did you take that trip? And kind of talk a little bit about it.
My mom. So originally I'm from Barbados. So my whole family's from Barbados, and I have a lot of family still back there. But it's been a while since I've been back. It's been like 10 years or so. And my mom and my sister were going, so I was just like, let me tag along and make it a family trip. I think we were there for about. I was there for about a week. My mom was there for about a couple of weeks. And I was there with my sister as well. But it was really fun. Like again, it was good to see family. Catch up with family. Everyone got older. Everyone got taller than me again. But it was really cool. And one of the biggest things that my biggest takeaway with that was just going as an adult and going with my family as an adult as well. Like my sister and I, we went snorkeling, which is really really fun. That was really good sister brother bonding time.
Mhm.
And that was my first time snorkeling. Actually, this trip was my first time actually doing anything touristy all my times going to Barbados because when you're from a place, it's a little bit different because you have family, you have friends you stay at,
Yeah.
and my family lived in the country when I was younger going back. But this time, we planned it out well. We had a rental, and my cousin, shout out to her, she took literally the whole week off as well too, and just drove us all over the place. I was able to see a lot more parishes. Parishes are the different think of them as states, but in Barbados, I was different. I was able to see different ones. It's a small island, so it only took about like 2 hours to drive around. But that was really cool. And just going to different festivals and stuff like that.
Yeah. What kind of festivals did they have?
In a day, like it's like kind of like a swap meet throughout the whole street, which is really cool. Different vendors, different merchants, and stuff like that. It's usually downtown, and it's really cool because you get to see like people they made their own custom stuff. Um, there's some knockoffs there, but it's really cool to like see the creativity of different people in their everyday hustle. Food
Mhm.
as well too. Like every time I go back to Barbados, though, dude, I always gain like 5 to 10 pounds because it's just natural. Everyone makes food, and it's just so when you eat a dish, you're always not gonna be satisfied because it's not heavy. It's really good food. So I've just been eating all day.
That's awesome. That sounds like a good time. What kind of food is do they typically eat in Barbados?
Man, it's a wide range of different things. I would say so. My favorite dish is called kuku, a saltfish. Um, so it's like cornmeal. I don't even know how to make it, but I know it's cornmeal. That's the base. And it's made somehow, some way. But on top of that, you have something called saltfish. And
Okay.
what you do is like you kind of like how can I say it? Like saute it in a way the saltfish. And then you just throw it with some like peppers, whatever the case may be, and then you put it on top of the cornmeal, which is cooked, and that's called kuku, which is really good.
Sounds
The
good.
next thing, yeah, it is, man. It's dude. Like you can add okra to it as well. You can add some okra, which
Okay.
is a best way to top it off. Another thing is like we eat a lot of fish, so there's like flying fish as well, fried flying fish, which
Mhm.
my family makes amazingly. Every time I go back, like that's the first thing that I eat when I first touch down. Actually, it's when I get to the airport, it's already handed to me because they already
Oh,
know.
dang.
There's that. There's like red snapper. So red snapper is literally like you get served the whole fish. Like it's the eyes, the teeth, like literally it's that, but it's baked or either fried, which is kind of crazy. But you have to be careful with it because there's a lot of bones. Again, this
Mhm.
hasn't been touched. Like it's literally been out the ocean, seasoned, prepared, and right to your plate. So that's really good. And then my last thing is pudding in sauce. Pudding in sauce. So the pudding is like sweet potato. It's made in a certain way, and the sauce is either like pig's feet or you can do it with turkey. It's kind of like pickled in a way with cucumber. It's really good. That's my favorite dish of all time as well. Um, Pudding is just like it's just a way of the sweet potato. It's like a nice sweet, but then the pig
Yeah.
feet or the turkey that's pickled, it's savory. It's super good.
Dang, you got me hungry now. It's lunchtime when we're recording. Those all sound good.
They are, trust me.
Um, so that's really cool. Getting to travel internationally, but it's also kind of a second home to you there, and you have family. Um, what kind of stuff would you do as a family, and then what kind of touristy things are there to do in Barbados?
Really like, between my mom and my sister and I, we just what I like about Barbados is that, it's an island. So you can literally walk around anywhere. It's all like neighborhoodish. It's an island. Everyone's nice, everyone's pleasant. So even the small things I do with my family, just walk around. Like walking around the neighborhood and like, the crazy thing is my mom grew up in that neighborhood. So like as we walk, like she see our high school friends,
Oh wow.
her childhood friends. They're like, "Oh, is that is that her nickname's Rosie? Is that Rosie? I haven't seen you since da da da." And then they're like, "This is my mom's like, this is my son, this is my daughter," and it's so crazy. Everyone is back home, like just all my mom's childhood friends, and they even know like my dad. Some of them know my dad. Some of them know my uncles. It's pretty interesting to hear the stories. But there's that. And then also just pretty much too is just like what I also like is just kicking back with my other family, just around the neighborhood as well. Just catching up, walking around. Um, it's just so hot at night. You can just do whatever you want, especially during the summertime. So I'd say those are the best things that I like to do outside of the touristy things. Get into the touristy things. There's snorkeling for sure. There's something called Harrison's Cave. I haven't done that, but that's actually pretty cool. That was actually on my list. Um, and there's just a lot of like sightseeing things you can do off the beach in Barbados. Like Barbados is probably one of the most beautifulest, underrated places that you can go. Like people talk about Jamaica a lot and the white sand.
Mhm.
Like Barbados is untouchable.
Yeah, it's one that we don't really hear a lot about, honestly, in the U.S., but I've always heard amazing things from anyone who's been there.
It's hot, but it's just a perfect place. It's really funny because my cousin, who did take the week off to take us around, I asked to go to the beach just to like just to kick back, not to really swim. And she said to me like, "This is the first time I've been to the beach, and I live here." And she's like, she forgot how relaxing it is. And I was just like, "You can't like you. I get it. If she works, that's her everyday thing." But just to see, her calm, just looking at the beach because she had a friend, she's frantic all the time. She's working a lot. Was just like, wow, the beach can do wonders.
Yeah, yeah, that's wild. You lived there your whole life, and I'm sure the beach isn't far away from anywhere.
Literally, like literally down the street from her too. But you take for granted sometimes like what you have near you.
Mhm.
But I'm glad that she was able to like kind of recapture like, wow, I can't take this for granted.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's really cool. What was it like snorkeling for the first time?
That was actually really funny. So, like, I know how to swim in a way, but I know how to swim in water under 6 feet. So, like, snorkeling, like, we went all the way out, dude. Like, this is my first time doing anything like this. Like this, we went all the way out, maybe like halfway out the ocean from the beach, and they gave us life vests, and they just like, here, like, just look down. And when you look down, you're in the water. You're swimming away from the boat. By the way, you look down like it's deep, dude. It is massive. So the only
Yeah.
thing that's saving you is this goddamn life vest. So you're like, if there's anything happens to me, it's crazy. But it's funny because my sister and I, we stayed more to the boat with also a few people, but there were some other tourist people that were just out. Like the guy on the boat was like, "You got to come back, you got to come back," and I'm like, "How the hell are these people like? That's boat, that's adventurous as hell." Um, but it was pretty cool. It was really fun. My sister, speaking of staying next to the boat, she never left the boat actually. Like she got into the water and she just held onto the handle. She just held onto the handle of the boat and looked down. And I was just like, you gotta swim out. You gotta like whatever. She swam out and she was scared as hell. But I remember the one thing that the one of the people on the boat said to us, there's people drown more close to shore than they do in the ocean. And that's because
Mhm.
people panic. So if you
Yeah.
stay calm in the water, you're gonna be fine. It's only when people panic that's when things start going hectic and you have a greater chance of drowning. I'm not gonna lie, I started splashing around too because I was kind of scared because I got water in my scuba thing or my
Oh
eye
yeah.
thing. Yeah, and I was just like, oh my god, but you could just hear someone yelling like, stay calm, and that's the one thing to know if you're doing anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's good advice for sure. I know it's really easy to panic, especially in the ocean. I mean, that's the ocean's a different beast from a swimming pool. It's easy to
And
panic for sure.
And then when you look down, you got all these like fish like swimming
Yeah,
around you and stuff, like a big ass
where's the
turtle about to
shark
like knock me over. I was just like, oh my god. But nah, that was it was really fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Lots of pretty fish to see.
I mean, I wish I could just take them back to shore and eat them. I'm just kidding. But nah, it was beautiful. Like there was a shipwreck we saw too.
Oh,
I'm not too
that's
sure.
cool.
Yeah, I'm not too sure the specifics. I forget. But there was a shipwreck that we saw, and literally, like, it was just crazy.
Dang, that's wild. That'd be really cool. I've never seen that before. But,
Super, it was super wild.
yeah, dang. I want to go to Barbados now and do that. Sounds fun. Especially now
I'm
in the
glad I was selling you
wintertime.
on it.
Snow on the ground. I don't want to be here.
365 of the year.
What's that?
365 days of the year.
Oh yeah, yeah. uh yeah, I know. I've actually haven't been to too many tropical destinations during my travels, but the ones that I have been to, I mean, as someone that's coming from the outside, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is paradise. Like every day is like this. But I'm sure, like you said, it's different if you're actually living there.
Because it's also like I don't say it's underdeveloped, but um, there's something to said about the economy there in Barbados. It's from what I've when I went there, from what I've heard, like it's being overpopulated. And with COVID, it's a tourist area, so with COVID and stuff like that, they're just not catching back. It's funny, like 2022, 2 years from COVID, you think like everything's okay, but you have like small islands like this that are still catching their feet. You still have people who are still out of work because of COVID.
Dang.
Um, so yeah, so it's like it was pretty like an interesting thing. Like I had to be. I also tiptoed some lines too of like what I did with my family just to be cautious of like just spending and like doing different things like that. But um, yeah, that's where they are right now.
Dang. What's that like as, someone who's from there but hasn't lived there most of their lives? Coming back, do people treat you differently?
Or Barbados.
Sorry, say that again.
Or coming back to Barbados.
Yeah, yeah, coming back to Barbados, do people treat you differently even though, you're from there, your family's there, but you haven't necessarily lived there a lot of your life?
Question. I mean, there I was gonna joke like I'm a Yankee, mean I'm American. But at the end of the day, it's also about like how rooted your family is as well. Like my
Mhm.
family is very rooted, so a lot of people know like my uncle, he worked in the government in Barbados, so he knows a lot of people. So it's just like with that being said, every time I go somewhere with him, um, it's just easy like, oh, this is your nephew, da 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 da. Especially like my mom again in our neighborhood, and even outside of our neighborhood a little bit, she knows everyone. My grandfather knew everyone. My aunts, my great uncle, like they know a lot of people. So going back, it's just like it's kind of humbling to see like how cool my family is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean that's good. I've heard stories that are not that nice, I guess. You're kind of
Why? I could definitely understand why. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I've just heard like, especially like people who have come from Mexico to the U.S. There's that issue of like you're kind of not American but not Mexican, and you're in that in between, and people just kind of treat you differently in both places. And I don't know. I feel like that'd be a really hard spot to be in.
Thing is just how you come off as well. Like, if you
Hmm.
go to like, where you're from or your parents is from, and you pull out a bunch of electronics, you do this, you do that, like you have that American mindset when you go to these places. Of course, they're gonna call you out on that.
Yeah.
I've been to Barbados so many times, and obviously just living in a household with my mom, it's just like I understand the customs.
Hmm.
You have manners, you do this, like even a small thing, wash up behind yourself, like all that other stuff. You can be conservative with water and stuff like that. I've learned that, and from there, you're gonna get the respect that you need, either from your family members inside the house or just the way you talk to people outside of the house as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's smart. That's smart. Um, what other fun things did you do in Barbados, or what should people do when they go there?
Go to Christchurch, you definitely go to Oistins. Oistins like a big night outdoor kind of like bar scene. Like there's a bunch of bars, there's a lot of like food stands. It's pretty dope. You can get a lot of good food. There's dancing. It's pretty cool. You see like a lot of like college kids go there if they're traveling there for spring break. Just a lot of tourist people go there too, as well as a lot of locals. So it's a mix of everybody. And then there's St. Lawrence Gap. St. Lawrence Gap is literally like a street of bars. And I kid you not, dude, like, I was dirty at the time, and it was like maybe 12 or 1 o'clock, and I'm tired. I'm like, let's go home. Like, because usually in America, bars close at 2. And so my body's just used to that. And as I was leaving, people are coming in, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, what time is this place close? And they're like, they don't close, man. They be open to like 5, 6 a.m. And I'm like,
Oh
this is different.
yeah. Yeah, that sounds a little bit too late for me.
Yeah, I'm like falling asleep, drinking my beer.
Yeah. That's wild. Um, yeah, there's a lot of places like that around the world. They party all night, but I guess if have the weather for it and the means to do it, go for it. But that's not me. That's funny. So Barbados in June and then Cabo in July. What was Cabo like?
Was Cabo was amazing. So the premise behind Cabo was I did a stand up, or I took a stand up class, and I went with my homie. Now we usually travel a lot, and because I wanted that to be like a graduation gift for myself of doing a stand up comedy for me. So we end up going, and it was just a blast, dude. Like we started off, going into our room when we first got there, and our room had a patio. So our room was actually dope. We stayed at the Hotel Testarosso. If you guys are looking to go to Cabo, stay at Hotel Testarosso. It is literally right on the pier, and you can see out into the marina. Like literally, like our view was amazing. So anyway, we go on a patio, and then we start making funny noises because we're just out and about in a different country. And next to us, our neighbors was like doing the same thing, and it was two guys from California. They brought their girlfriends with them, but they're literally around our age, and like we chopped it up, we talked for a minute, and we made some friends. So with that being said, like I think that same night we all go out as a group. We went to Squid Row, we went to other few kind of places, and we just had a blast because we met some new people there. And then on Saturday, we got there on Thursday. Like on a Saturday, there's like some other women there too. So like it was just me, my friend, and all these other couple people, like just all mingling. We're just all talking. We met a lot of different people in that one pool area. We're all drunk as hell. We had we had the all inclusive. So we're taking tequila shots like crazy in the
Oh
pool. And
gosh,
it was just from old to young, dude. We're all chatting. Like I probably met like 10, 15 people at the pool.
jeez, that's
The
so cool.
waiters, dude. Even the waiters are like talking to us, chopping it up. Like there's just a lot going on. It was really fun.
That's so cool. That's one of my favorite parts of travel is just all the people you meet. I mean, everyone just seems so happy when you're traveling.
It was nuts. I That was one of my best trips I've ever had.
Dang, that's awesome. I've never actually been to Cabo, but it's definitely the place to go from what I hear from everyone.
There's this place. I forgot what it's called. It's like Mango Deck. That's what it is. And Mango Deck is like your average spring break on MTV type thing, where from back in the day, where like a bunch of college kids go on stage and just go doing stupid stuff. Um, but it's actually really interesting because it's family friendly, quote unquote. But so on stage, they had a twerking contest, and I'm like, they're children of like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Oh
and
my
there's just
gosh.
women on stage twerking for $600, and it's just like, oh my god, this place is different. But it was fun, man. Like Mango Deck is really fun. I definitely recommend going there if you're going to Cabo too. That whole strip where Mango Deck is apparently has like the same type of vibe: good food, good music, and good entertainment.
Okay, good to know. No. Did you guys do anything besides tequila shots there? Like go snorkeling or something like that?
Nah, we didn't. I mean, oh, you know what we did do? See, this is how blurry that trip was and how drunk we were. I forgot what we did. We did ATVs. We were riding
Oh,
ATVs.
cool.
Yeah, that was actually really fun. So, I I got saved from ATVs for a minute because I'm not good at that stuff. It was to the point. It was really fun though, but one of the biggest things that I remember was I was driving, and we were making a sharp turn, and dude, my butt was off the seat, and then my legs and my arm was holding on to dear life. Like I was just literally like, oh my god, like this is crazy. I felt like DJ Khaled and one of his TikToks doing something stupid and like falling over or something like that. But we went to the beach. We had a four-wheeler as well too. Like that was hella fun. That was an amazing time.
Yeah, wow. That sounds like a fun time.
You
Is
should
there
love.
what was the where you did the ATVs? Was it like sand dune type of landscape or just in the mountains or what was it like?
A sand dune on a beach, which is actually pretty
Okay,
dope.
okay.
So where you're when you're getting the ATVs and stuff like that, you maybe drive like 10, 15 minutes to like a sand dune, and then maybe 5 minutes past the sand dune is the beach. It's like a desert towards the beach. And
Okay.
there's really hillies. There was like a lot of turns. Our instructor was really cool. Our instructor was really actually dope, really nice. Um, he actually let us like do some stuff we shouldn't have done. But it was just amazing. It was I would say the whole theme of that trip was just meeting good people,
Hmm. Yeah,
meeting good people.
it sounds like a really fun time and I mean you you went down there with someone that you met through the stand-up class too. So that's really cool that you made all those connections and that's how that trip kind of happened.
Person I went down there with was like a homie I knew for a while. But the reason why I went down there is because I graduated or I
Mm,
did a stand up myself. That was my
okay.
reward to myself.
Okay. Yeah. What's the stand-up class like? That sounds fun.
4 weeks, and this person who's actually really popular in Seattle, she is a Asian woman. I forget her name, but she taught a 4 week class on how to do stand up comedy. And essentially, what we did is like she gave us the different spectrums, the different formats of comedy, and we'd write our jokes every class and perform it in
Mhm.
front of the class to like see get feedback, yada yada yada. And then we had like a show, like a graduation show, where we all told our best jokes and whatever case may be. It was fun, dude. I mean, I've always been told like I'm just a funny person. Um, so I've always been told like I should just do stand up, and I did it. And I got a lot of good laughs. I was told to do it again, but I haven't. I've shied away from doing it again. I should though. I want to.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun time. That's a cool class there. Um, and have you ever done in these travels any sort of like class like that where you're like I know I when I was in Colombia I did a salsa class. Have you ever done that while you're traveling?
I don't think I have
I don't
actually.
know. I feel like that's a fun way to kind of meet some people and get to know a place a little bit better. I should do that more often, actually.
No, you're actually that's a good gem. I mean, I haven't really thought to do anything like that. Mine's is just like playing things by ear when I get into
Mhm.
whatever happens. But that's actually a good gem.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it until right now when we were talking about it. Yeah, so with these trips, do you typically plan it out, or you said you kind of just play it by ear?
It's a mix of both, and what I've learned from life, like nothing goes as planned. So
Yeah.
like I'll have like some things in like my notes in my iPhone, like some places to look up, just to like give myself like some structure, and then just whatever how my days go, I'll either ping pong between my list or just listen to like what the locals have to say as well too. Because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, you can go on TripAdvisor, you could go on Yelp, you can go on all these places, but the locals know a spot that you may not never even seen on the internet. So I keep an open schedule and I keep an open mind for those type of spots, and it never has failed me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The locals know what's up. They know where the best spots are.
Exactly. So
Uh,
that's how I usually travel.
yeah, that's cool. I like that. So then Toronto in early October, what was that trip like?
That was my first time going to Toronto. I've been to Vancouver numerous times, but that was my first time going to Toronto ever, and I've heard a lot of great things about Toronto. I went there for mostly work, but I had some free time as well, and I just explored the city. I got some really good food, some really good Thai food. And the city's so walkable that, I was able to walk around my hotel where I was at around my hotel. And I walked to the tower. I forgot the name of it right now. The Scene, actually. That's called the Scene.
Mhm.
I walked around there. And I also walked around like a different kind of like a lake or a harbor kind of point, which is past the Scene. It was just amazing, dude. The city was lit. It's a cleaner New York, essentially.
Okay. I feel like that's
Lit,
good.
well. Yeah, man. Like if you haven't been to Toronto, I definitely recommend putting it on your list. Like it's a city vibe, but it's a chill city vibe.
Hmm. That's interesting. I'm surprised that like one, it would be so walkable, but so clean and nice being a big city. That's kind of interesting.
Go like it's pretty cool, man. I like it a lot. It's just like being in a whole different like it's like on some Rick and Morty stuff. Like a whole different like atmosphere, different lingos. But at the end of the day, like everyone it's all love. And if you listen to Drake and Nav and whatever it case may be, and they talk about like the love in Toronto, like it's really there. Like it's amazing. The locals. I mean, I guess that's just a Canada thing. Everyone's nice, but there's a lot of love out there.
Yeah. What differences or similarities did you notice between Toronto and Vancouver?
Like Vancouver is a little bit more not sleepy, but it's a little bit more like under the radar. The downtown in Vancouver to me it's it wasn't as booming as Toronto, or it wasn't as vibrant as Toronto, I should say. Vancouver to me gave me like it's more like a calm city, whereas Toronto was more of like a vibrant, a lot of lights, a lot of everything happening here, a lot of
Mhm.
restaurants. Um, like that whole like big lights kind of scene.
Yeah.
That's what the vibe that Toronto gave me.
Okay. Okay. Cool. What good food did you have there in Toronto?
Most of the food was catered from work, but where I was able to step out to, we went to I went to this Thai place. I forget the name, but it was really really good. It's some hole in the wall spot. I was just walking for like miles and miles, and I was just like, you know what, this place gives me good energy. I went in, got some good food, like my energy told me. And then I went to get dessert. I think at this place called Sweet Jesus, and oh my god, the dessert! It was just like this ice cream. It was amazing.
Make you say sweet Jesus?
That's the name of it. That's the name of it. Actually, it's called Sweet Jesus. The name of the place.
That's hilarious. I don't know what it is, but whenever I travel, so like in my normal life, I don't really eat much ice cream or sweets at all. But for some reason, when I'm traveling, I always want to try like an ice cream shop or gelato or whatever it is. Like the desserts just sound so good.
Literally on the same page. Like I don't necessarily eat a lot of sweet. I don't like sweets like that in my everyday. But when I'm on vacation, I'm like, dude, whatever. Just give me whatever you
Yeah.
have. I'll take it. I'll deal with it back when I get home.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's just like it doesn't count when you're on a trip.
That's true. That's definitely true. And I feel like when you're on vacation too, you're doing a lot of walking, so
Hmm.
it's like it's you deserve it. You know, you pop into a shop, you've been walking for like God know how long. Pop into a shop, get something sweet, go about your business, go about your day.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What was you said like end of September, early October. What was the weather like in Toronto at that time?
Apparently, I got really lucky. It was really nice out for the couple days I was there. And the nights were just calm. Usually it rains a lot, apparently, like Seattle. But
Mhm.
when I went, like the weather was just calm. It was about like 50, 55, clear skies. So
Okay.
I got really lucky. And again, like the night that I walked around the city was just amazing. Like it was just not, it wasn't too cold. I had like a nice little jacket on. And for me to walk around maybe like at 10, 11, I felt safe as well because it's still booming around that time. It was still like a good temperature. I got lucky.
Yeah. Do you think that's a good time of year for people to go there?
Wrong. I mean, now with global warming, who knows? It's just like a bunch of stuff happening. Um, but yeah, I would say like, you could possibly get a good day around that time frame.
Okay. Yeah, that's a trip I need to make soon. I haven't explored much of Canada, so I need to get up there and do that. But I know there's a lot of cool
Recommend it
cities
10 out of
out
10.
in the east.
And actually, I've only been there for a couple days, like I said, due to work. I want to go back by myself. Like, I should have like extended my trip because I was already there and just pay out my own pocket. But I liked it so much that it's on my list to go again for like a good 4 or 5 days, just explore the city a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I know my sister's been there a couple times and she loves going there every time. So it's a really cool city. But um yeah, well that's really fun. I mean, those sound like really awesome trips. And I'm definitely jealous, like I said. Those are actually three places I've never been. So you're making me want to go to all of those places now.
Recommend it, man. If you can go to any places I've listed, definitely Barbados. I think
Mhm.
you'll kick back. You'll love Barbados a lot. Not because I'm biased, because my parents are from there, but it's just like I haven't. I don't know. It's just an awesome area. It's just an amazing island.
Yeah, yeah. No, like I said, from what I've heard, it sounds amazing, and I definitely want to check it out. So if you do happen to go back, this year or sometime soon, let me know, and I'll maybe try to tag along.
I have to take you up on that because that's actually might be in the works.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Let me know for sure. That'd be a really good excuse. I guess speaking of that, what trips do you have coming up this year?
I'm actually going to Mexico City in March, early March. I have a friend who, just took a couple months to just go and travel Mexico. I commend her for doing that. And through her travel, she invited me to visit her in one of her destinations, which is in Mexico City.
Ah, that's cool.
I just was like, I'm gonna take advantage of that. Morning.
Definitely, definitely. I love that when you have those friends that are traveling to a place and they just invite you to come along with. I mean, that's the best way to do it, I think.
And I've been to Cabo. Obviously, I've been to Tulum as well. But I think Mexico City will kind of give me another perspective of Mexico. Cabo and Tulum, they're very like touristy, beachy
Mhm.
areas. I think Mexico City will kind of give me that like urban feel. Um, that that just like being a part of a local, but being in a city in Mexico, away from like a lot of touristy people. They're gonna have touristy people there, but I feel like Mexico City is gonna give me a little bit more immersed of like what Mexico is.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a very different spot from Tulum and Cabo. I mean, you're one at high elevation, and but then you're in a big city and not near the beach. So I'm sure it'll be a lot different. But
Mexico not being near a beach.
what was that?
You're going to Mexico and not being near in a beach.
Yeah, it's almost a crime.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
No, that would be cool. I mean, I know that there's a lot of history and culture in Mexico City that you might not get, in the touristy spots. So that should be a lot of fun. I've heard
That's
the
what
food is amazing down there too.
photos of the food that she's been eating, and bro, I kid you, it just looks fresh, dude. Avocado's green as hell. Like the
Oof.
food is just glistening, like no filter, neither. I'm just like, oh my god, you know. Um, Everything's just fresh down there, so I can't wait as well. I love Mexican food. I'm basic. I love burritos. I love tacos. There's this
Oh,
place out here in Seattle, Taco Chugis. I'm pretty sure they're tired of seeing me right now. So I go there almost every week, dude. I love Mexican food. It's crazy.
it's so good. I mean, I I'm with you on that one. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely jealous of the travels there. We'll definitely have to plan a Barbados trip if that is in the works. But anything else, Jamal, that you want to share about traveling internationally, about your travels in general?
Just basic knowledge. Like if you're traveling internationally, if you're traveling by yourself or anything like that, definitely make a copy of your passport.
Yeah.
It's obvious as it is, but I've heard horror stories of people losing their only form of identification and they're just stuck where
Mhm.
they are. And if you are applying for a new passport, so you can get the passport card as well. Like that's also a good honorable identification to carry as you're walking around the city. And just learn, just be one with the people, man. Just don't go over there with your American mindset. Just understand like how people are doing different things, and try to learn the language if you can. Because I feel like when you're more immersed in trying to learn the language and learn the customs, you're gonna have way more fun than like just going there and partying or bring electronics and just being not part of the whole plan.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I love that. That's great advice. Just come in and see how the locals live. I mean, I feel like that's why you're there to travel is just, see something different than what you're used to. And it's a shame to, just continue your same normal lifestyle if you're traveling to these places.
It's a crime right there too.
Yeah. I agree. Um, well, awesome. Uh, I'm I'm really excited to see your travels in the future here. I know I always love chatting with you about all the different places that you're going and I'm going and that sort of thing. So we'll definitely have to reconnect again soon after we've done some more travels and have another episode here.
Time we speak, I might end up going to Japan or Switzerland. Those are on my bucket list. Those two places.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. Actually, Japan is one that I'm trying to put in the works for this year. So I'm gonna have to talk about that too.
Thing before we all go, if you haven't followed, follow Scott's Cheap Flights. Like
Oh,
that is the best newsletter you can have. Actually, they had a mistake fare to Japan, and it was only like $300 round trip. And I tried to get it like just ASAP because you can cancel your flight in 24 hours. But I just wanted to get it under the books, if anything. And dude,
mhm.
it disappeared. But if you're looking to do any type of international travel, Scott Cheap Flights is the way to go. They don't pay me.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just
I
saying from
agree.
experience.
Yeah, I know that's helped a lot of people I've talked to. Good advice there for sure. But Jamal, thanks again for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Always enjoyed chatting with you, and I look forward to seeing you somewhere around the world soon.
23 and namaste.
Have a good one, man. I'll talk to you later.
Hey everybody, Kyle here. If you enjoyed today's show and want more, you can always check out every episode on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and now Amazon Music as well. Just search for Our Travel Experiences on any of those platforms and it will pop up. You can also find everything all in one place on my website, ourtravelexp.com. And if you want to see my travel pictures as well as travel pictures from guests on the show, you can check them out on Instagram. The page is called Our Travel Experiences Podcast. And if you want to share your own pictures on the Instagram page or be a guest on the podcast, you can message me via that Instagram page or email me at ourtravelexperiences@outlook.com. I would love to see your pictures and hear about your travel experiences, so please send them my way. And if that isn't enough for you, make sure to check out my weekly YouTube show, From Around the World Fridays. Every Friday, I'm taking 5 to 10 minutes to answer questions from listeners, share some souvenirs that I bought over the years, share my postcards over the years that I've accumulated, or share videos and pictures from one particular city or country that I visited, and so much more. So check it out, guys. You won't be disappointed. And make sure you go subscribe to that as well. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you somewhere around the world soon.